All right, let's talk some Steelers defense. I want to talk about, listen, had a lot of turnovers. Those can be fluky. How good is this Steelers defense really? Is it suffocating? Is this the next great defense? Are they going to be awesome this season? Or was it kind of just a fluky game? To me, I think that I would probably say it was very good. And there were some fluky elements, and there are ways you can beat this defense as well. And I'm going to get into, I think, the best way to beat this defense. But first, let's talk about why the Bengals couldn't. So this play is a great example. This is what we saw a lot of from the Steelers, a lot of cover 2 zone, which is historically not what they love to do. Last year, they were a big cover 3 zone team, but we've seen a lot of teams kind of shift to more of a 2 safety high coverage, and I think that this is one of the things Mike Tomlin has always been good at, is not just doing what he wants to do. If he sees the league is shifting to a certain direction, it's a passing league, so you got to defend the pass, he will adjust accordingly. And I think this 2 safety deep look is fantastic because a lot of times you think, hey, we got a great rangy safety in Minkah Fitzpatrick. Let's just let him be the deep safety and let him do his thing. But you can get just as much value and sometimes more value when that safety is in a cover 2 scheme. And this is the perfect example where you have a receiver who's going to be running a route just underneath Minkah Fitzpatrick's zone. This is a good route against this type of concept, and it works pretty well. Right when this play begins, Joe Burrow is going to take the snap. He looks downfield, and honestly, at this point, I don't blame Joe Burrow for making this throw. And this is kind of why I was a bit, maybe easier on Burrow than some others were for this game, because I thought it was a lot of Steelers playing well as opposed to Burrow playing poorly. There was some Burrow playing poorly, of course. Turn the ball over 5 times, you're never going to have a great game. But in this situation, it doesn't appear as though this is a really particularly dangerous throw, other than just the awareness that Minkah Fitzpatrick is the safety who's deep there. Watch him move in, and he's not just going to get an interception, but he's going to return it all the way for a touchdown on top of it. And this is exactly what we saw of Minkah Fitzpatrick 2 years ago. Last year, we weren't seeing this as much because of the fact that, they weren't being able to cover as well, and they weren't being able to funnel routes in Minkah Fitzpatrick's area, which is part of why, he statistically had a down season. At least, I guess, depends on what stats you look at. I know had a lot of tackles, but in my opinion, when I watched his tape, I would say, yeah, he wasn't getting those impact plays, but I don't think it was his fault. I think it was because of the situation, and with this new cover 2 zone style defense, you're going to see him be in the area where he can make these types of plays more frequently, and I bet he's probably going to have kind of a quote-unquote bounce-back season, but it's not really a bounce-back season. It's more so just him, I think, being in a better situation. And so then what that sets up as well is something like this, where now it is going to be a cover 1 play. So you're only going to have a single safety deep, but what's happening now is you have 5 guys in coverage and 5 guys rushing the passers. Called a cover 1 blitz. It's a very good concept that can, a lot of teams like to do it. The Steelers used to love to do this. Now they're doing it a bit more sparingly, which, a lot of teams don't like to do this at all against a team that has Jamar Chase. But when you kind of pick your spots well, what it does is instead of Burrow knowing he has to get rid of the ball quickly, it's almost like oh my God, I had to get rid of the ball quicker here, but I didn't realize it until after I got hit. Look at how Burrow takes the snap and kind of plays this play as though it's not a blitz at all, which creates a fumble there. So because of that, the fact that you were playing kind of coverage and you were giving him a bit more time, now you blitz, it's all of a sudden less time. He's not used to it, and he is not able to get anything going. Like this one's another example of just, again, the few times they did blitz, because they did not blitz much in this game, but when they did, they were able to shock Burrow. The player I've circled is going to be blitzing here, and as you see, he gets straight through and really disrupts this play. Now, Burrow got around that tackle, but eventually just had to take a knee because the whole play had been disrupted. And that was just supposed to be a screen pass, it looked like. So he literally disrupted a screen pass with that blitz. So those little things is exactly what makes this Steelers defense, I think, work a lot better. This new Steelers scheme, I think, is going to give a lot of teams trouble. Now, let's go over to something like this. So, one of the drawbacks of a cover 2 zone that you see on the screen is, a similar drawback to what happened last year. We all remember that Kansas City Chiefs game where we saw TJ Watt play awesome and it still was not able to do much of anything because guys were getting open so quickly. And one of the ways you can do it is by simply having players, find soft spots in zone coverage. Right when this play begins, you're going to see that essentially every Cincinnati player here is going to get kind of open right here. I mean, you could legitimately make an argument that you could throw to any one of these 5 Cincinnati Bengals players. They're just now starting to get open, all 5 of them. But here's the point. This is 2.5 seconds into the play. 2.5 seconds into a play is right around when the play tends to break down. You only have so much time. And as long as you can cover for that 2.5 seconds, that's all you need if you're Pittsburgh. Yes, everyone's about to get open, but that's fine because you have a great pass rush who can get to Burrow. Now, TJ Watt is hurt. That sucks. I don't know how long it's going to be, but, it looks like it's not going to be anything short. And I don't think it's going to be season ending, but it might be still missing a ton of time. So the pass rush won't be as good, but it still should be good. They have a good pass rush outside of TJ Watt. It's just obviously going to take a massive hit. But even on this play, Watt definitely played a role in this, but he wasn't the only person who was playing a role in this. So instead, Burrow decides to scramble up. And again, due to it being zone coverage, you have players keeping an eye on Burrow who could run up and make a tackle on that 3rd down. They did not pick up the 1st down. So this is kind of the logic. Cover for 2.5 seconds, let the pass rush get there, and you still have 2 safeties deep, so it's not like someone's going to get completely wide open. That's kind of why cover 2 zone is really just a great coverage at stopping the pass, and probably my favorite coverage actually. Of course, the drawback is it certainly leaves you open in the running game, but the Steelers can stop the run with 4 guys. You're fine. You don't need to worry about that too much. Yes, with 2 safeties deep, you're going to be, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but the other 9 players are going to be able to still stop the run relatively consistently. So you're okay there. If your advantage is in your, defensive front, which I think the Steelers' advantage still is in that defensive front, well then use the extra resources protecting the back end, and that's what can cause your team to be really talented. This is what the New Orleans Saints do, and it has great success. The Saints do it a little bit differently, a lot more man coverage, but again, same general concept. It's a good strategy. I like it a lot. Now, for the concerns I have, this is something I saw on several plays that it's a concern. It's a concern, and these are the potential ways that you could beat the Steelers defense, and this is how I could see if it does look a lot worse. I actually think this might be more concerning than the TJ Watt injury even. Maybe not. I mean, again, Watt means so much, but this is a way I could definitely see them being able to throw the ball down the field. I mean, you look at how when this play begins, the route that I showed you on the screen is now wide open down the field. And this is, again, we're not talking super long into the play. We're about 2.5 seconds in once again. The pass rush did not get there this time. And if Burrow makes the throw, this could be a big completion for a big gain. So these are the things that you do notice, is that with the safeties playing as far deep as they're playing on this play, I mean, you see how far deep they are. I mean, they're, 20, 30 yards further deep than Burrow is. So because of that, there is going to be a decent amount of space over the middle. And this is just something that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have to clean up with time. They're playing a relatively new scheme from what we've seen in years past. It is going to take a bit of time for them to figure out exactly all of the rules. I wouldn't be shocked if we see some blown coverages within the next few weeks just because of that. But at the same time, as a whole, I think the pros do outweigh the cons. In fact, the way this play will eventually work is that Burrow goes somewhere else, but Jamar Chase kind of finds a soft spot in zone and is able to pick up a big gain. So this stuff can happen for sure, but as long as the pass rush is solid, which I believe it will be even without TJ Watt, and as long as, again, you're funneling plays through Minka Fitzpatrick, he can make some big plays, and just in general, you're not going to give up a ton of huge plays. This is how you can be successful. I just hope that this is a scheme that the Steelers want to run consistently, and they didn't just do it against the Bengals, because for all I know, it was just their way of beating a team with a great passing attack. But that's what I think about all of this. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.